I had a better understanding of it looking at the replay probably that you guys saw than in the moment, and obviously it hits off the skate and then seems to hit a few things and go in. So honestly, I kind of feel like I'm at the same level you guys are with it.
Did it hit your stick once it came off the skate?
No, not my stick.
Okay.
What explanation did they give on the ice, if any?
You'll have to ask Arnie that. I'm not sure. The refs kind of talked to him.
To have a delay that long for you guys and then have it turn out to be a goal for them, what does that do for you guys emotionally?
I don't think it's a great excuse for us. Obviously, they got some momentum from the goal, but it's still one goal game at that point. And regardless of the circumstances, I think we have to do a better job, kind of pushing back.
Morgan, would you say did you ultimately agree then with the ruling or disagree with the final ruling?
No, I mean, again, it seemed to me like he kicked it, but what do I know? You'll have to, again, Arnie got the better explanation from the refs, so I'm sure he'll have a better idea than I will of kind of what happened, but I would have liked to see it come off the board, obviously.
Do you feel like that's a game then that sort of got away from you guys? You probably liked what you did in the second to get it tied up and had some good looks to take the lead?
Yeah. I think most of the guys in that room, it's a good effort. Obviously, I think, for our line to give up two in the third period, that can't happen. So it kind of starts with me and finding a better way. Obviously, it's unacceptable regardless of how they go in or the calls around it. So, it's a good effort, but ultimately those little plays make a big difference. So we'll clean that up.
How did you like team's response? We're saying there was early penalty trouble and you clawed back from a pair on one-goal deficits.
Yeah. Obviously, that's the response we want at that point of the game and in the third period there. So, I guess you can appreciate that response and like the way we did that, but ultimately it's about results this time of year and kind of being able to do that throughout the full 60. So, baby steps, but I think if we're able to kind of put together that for the full 60 minutes, it'll be a good result for us.
On the play leading up to the kick, they have quite a rush, and it almost looks like you guys handled a switch mid-rush as well. So did you guys do a lot of things right, or was that also still a breakdown?
I felt like we had it handled quite well. I'm not sure if that kick or whenever it hits the skate is from below the goal line or on the goal line, but to me it didn't feel like you had an angle, and again, I'm still not sure. I know it didn't hit me, but I'm not sure what it hit after that. So those bounces are going to happen, but again, kind of beating a dead horse here, but it's kind of about the way we respond to it. So
Thank you. What was your view of the kicking goal?
Not great. I was on the bench. You guys probably had a better look than I did. I mean, they showed a couple of replays, but sounds like what they told us was how he played it into his own net. We were asking about the kicking motion. There's a deflection. The refs claimed that he played it in his own net. I think that was the bottom line.
So when does a deflection turn into playing a puck? Yeah, I'm not sure what you're supposed to say. It just seems like a tough call to make. And then when the review went on for as long as it did, would you guys have had confidence building or confidence losing as it got so long?
Either way, I mean, there's no excuses. We have to be ready to play whether it's short or long. And obviously, big momentum changer. They were able to get that one, and then they scored the next shift there. And it's something that obviously momentum swings happen in a game, and we try to turn more into our favor. But it's just the way it happened, and they were able to gain chances off that.
Sorry. What do you think the game got away from you guys in the third period? You played so well in the second.
I don't think it got away from us. We were right there in the game. One deciding goal that may or may not be a goal, and we're right there in the game.
How you guys had answered them back the first two times they took the lead. Maybe just take us through your goal. Nice play by Gabe, and a bit of a race, I guess, to that far post that you ultimately win.
Yeah, we got to keep putting pucks behind their D, and getting our forecheck going. I thought our forecheck's one of our best assets, be able to turn the puck over, and that one happened off a face-off, but we were still able to get to a loose puck, turn it over, and Gabe, even his shot at the face-off kind of hit him in the head there and created the scramble. So more times we put pucks to the net and make their whole team turn and kind of collapse in there, and opens up a lot for us.
I thought it was frustrating that it was a long delay on a play that ultimately might not have been a legitimate goal.
I mean, it's out of our control. You can ask the league or ask someone else that, but like I said, we gotta, no matter what happens, we gotta be ready and handle ourselves, whether it's long or short.
And then with Rantanen's goal, the 4-2-1 was a bit of a dagger. Is that a case of them just being ready off the hop more, or like you guys would obviously been pressing for a tie or two?
A bit of a breakdown by us. They scored a couple off the rush, and so we need to be better at that. We need to take a look at that. That starts with everybody. Our D's, gapping up, and then forwards coming back. You're never too late to come back. You got to be able to stop them from going east to west the way he, got in the zone like that.
Just what's the mindset now going into a game 4 that I guess you guys will view as a really important one now?
Yeah, it's for sure. It's important. We need to get one on the road here, and that next one's the best chance we got.
Thank you, Scott.
Scott, what explanation did they give you on that kicking goal?
The puck was kicked, but that heli directed it in to the net. The rule states that if the puck gets kicked, if it hits a body or a stick of anybody else other than the goaltender, it counts as a goal. It hit our goaltender's stick and went in the net. That is no goal. So they said that heli propelled the puck in. I haven't seen the word propel in the rule book.
Yeah, so they're saying then he's basically playing the puck at that point.
That's all I like. That's all I can say on it. That's what we take the rule as.
Right.
That's what we thought. The situation. That's why we thought maybe it was going to go our direction. The rest of it, they made the decision. We got to live with it, and we got to move on from it.
Obviously, that stands as the game winner. How much did you feel that delay? They come and score real quick right away to make it 4-2. How much did that contribute to the way things played out?
Yeah, you know what? I thought we played a heck of a hockey game. You're right, and that we got an Amber Alert going. No. No, you know what? I thought we played a really strong game. We played a really good game. Man, that took a long time. I'm not sure why. Obviously, it's a big moment, but at the end of the day, but we have to be ready. They came out and jumped on us. We have to be ready for that next shift, and we gave up that quick one. But I like a lot of what we did. I don't think it got us rattled. I think that we got back on our heels a little bit in that next one. We gave up a rush against that top line.
Greg back there.
Scott, obviously, people are going to look at the score. They're going to see Hellebuck on the road. They're going to assume some things. What was your assessment of Connor's play tonight?
Well, yeah. I mean, he may have had to make some big stops. Him and Ottinger, they were going kind of toe-to-toe. There was a lot of good looks both ways. But we're going to be judged, our whole team. We're going to be all judged, not just Connor, by what happens on the road. We got to win. They came into our building and took home ice away from us. We got to win here. And so everything that we have is going to be pushed into Game 4 here to get this thing evened up going back into our building.
Their 4-2 goal is transition, and it's against your top line, and maybe that's a line that had some struggles with transition D in your last win as well. I'm wondering if there's something that they're not quite having dialed in because they were so good.
Yeah, that one's a tough one because it came off a line change. We had a winger coming that was changing on the wall. Scheif jumped out. We didn't have all our numbers out on the ice, which obviously that's part of hockey is your line changes. So we kind of got caught halfway in between. And, it's, they were coming with all kinds of speed. That's hence picking up speed from almost the goal line. We've talked about it. It's something I thought we've done a really good job of trying to take that away. And, that was a situation where they took advantage of it.
Scott, obviously a lot happened in this game, but at the end of the night, Rantanen still has 3 points, and he's been on a dominant role. What, as a team, do you need to do better to? Well,
it's a 2-2 hockey game, and you know what? At the end of the day, we're going in the third period in a 2-2 game. I'm still good with what we're doing. He's a tough guy, like a lot of their skilled players. It takes a lot to sort of shut those guys down, and that's all part of this. If we're going to have success, not just him, but all of them, that we got to take away their offense. And he's a big power forward, and he made some plays. But it is what it is. I mean, one came off the power play, the other one, like I said, it was a 2-2 game up until that moment where that goal went in, and that's something that we just have to make sure that we continue to do a job on him and the rest of their top players.
Both Morgan and Kyle after the game said, in that moment, we need to be better at, fighting back their momentum at that time. And clearly, your players could lean into the excuse that was built in with the third goal. The fact that they don't, and the fact that they're owning that moment and saying they need to be better. How does that make your job easier as a coach?
Well, it's like I mentioned there, we felt we played a good game, and that's pretty much what I said afterwards. I mean, we had whatever it was, a 2-3 minute sort of situation where they scored a couple of goals, but at the end of the day, hopefully that some of the stuff we did, the offense that we created, the chances that we had, help us feel good about what we can do in Game 4, and that's what we're going to have to do. Dallas is a good team, and they defend well, but we have to find ways to to score more goals than them. And we had looks, but now we got to make sure also that we do that, and that starts on our power play because we had some some opportunities maybe to get ahead on that in the game. So those are all areas that we'll look at and look to improve on. Thank you.